Dun da da dun, dun 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 dun, dun da da dun, dun. Welcome. Welcome to Untangled. We are on episode 145. I'm excited to get started, get going, get into it. I'm only going to be here for about 30 to 40 minutes. So it'll be a quick little uh untangled, but I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the God particle. Am I frozen? My internet's doing something crazy right now. Um, hopefully, can you guys let me know if you can see me and hear me? Okay. We're going to get into Okay, good. You guys can see me. We're going to talk a little bit about the God particle. We're going to talk a little bit about why this, in my opinion, is the most important conversation that we should be having on the planet right now. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about some experiences that I've been having with Jesus and how he has been activating this particle within me, particles in you, particles in all of us. Um, uh, and uh, and what it's like. And also I'm going to give you guys a few little tips that you can start doing if you wanted to start to play around with opening and activating this particle within you. It's not really something that you do, it's something that God's light does, but we can talk a little bit about how you can invite that light in to start activating. So let me just get right into it. I first learned about the God particle in September of 2024 when I was on a safari in Kenya. We were staying at this lake. It was called Lake Nakuru, and I walked up to the lake. We were staying at these tents above the lake, and I felt this massive galactic energy, really profound and powerful galactic energy. I started tapping into this energy and feeling into them, and they were very strong. And it was they called themselves the Ancient Ones, and they were talking to me about the God particle, this particle within all humans. It's a divine design within the human body, and it's designed. It's like almost like a particle, like a proton, a neutron type thing, right? And it's designed to activate. It's held within the heart chamber, the heart center, and it's designed to activate at some point in the human's life if they're lucky, if the frequency on the planet is high enough, if the frequency in the body is high enough. But it's designed to turn on and slowly activate. And what it does when it activates is it basically, it's imagine this like lightsaber, from Star Wars, this light that goes from the heart, this particle, this proton like thing that goes straight to creator source. And when it turns on, then there is this um, living, breathing essence of God that is flowing into you at all times, kind of like water, and it allows you to remember in the physical dense reality how to live and be God-like. So you begin to breathe, live, feel, see, experience life not just from the human persona, personality, and ego, but through God's lens almost, right? And millions of years ago, when humanity was in a much higher vibrational state, in a fifth dimensional state of awareness, they lived this way. They had this particle turned on naturally. Again, this is part of the design of the human body. It's designed to be able to energetically have that lifesaver, like the umbilical cord, connected. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm already connected to God. Of course, we all have that umbilical cord, that God particle, right? It's designed to connect. But what has happened on the planet for thousands of years, which is the spiritual battle, it's the warfare that we're in, is that cord that everybody thinks is connected to source has been infiltrated. It can't actually be severed or cut, right? But it can be lessened almost or foggy, um, almost like it's not there. You don't even realize, you have no memories, you can't feel it. it's been distorted, it's been infiltrated. And because we live in a very dense physical reality, it is very difficult to remember and to access. The third dimension creates a lot of uh, issues around connecting into that particle and connecting straight into the divine creator of source. And so anyways, I heard about this particle and the God particle and the ancient ones and how they were these galactic beings that million thousands of years ago came onto the planet to help humanity activate this God particle. Um 10, 15,000 years ago. That was what they were doing, and they haven't been back on the planet for a while. Since about 5,000 years ago, they haven't come back because it's been really intense. The spiritual battle has been intense. Okay. So they're like, let's write a book together. Let's write this book. We're going to write a book about the God particle. And I'm all in. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. Yes, absolutely. So I go back to Kenya and I stay at that lake where the ancient ones were in January. And I'm like, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to focus. I'm going to write this book. Okay, so this was January of 2025. I'm 3 or 4 days into writing this book. I had the outline. I was writing. It was so easy to bring in. It was so clear. They were teaching me about the techniques that they used, etcetera, and all of a sudden, I had this massive breakdown. An emotional and mental breakdown. Like, it's almost like the excitement I had, the focus I had, all of it was taken from me in one swoop. It was gone, and I was like I felt disoriented, I felt lost, I felt confused. I felt like everything was just taken. Like, I was like, "Wait, what just I don't know how else to explain it, but I woke up one morning and it was like, "You need to get out of here. Don't stay here. You're not writing this book. This is not the right path." And I'm like, "Wait a second. Pause. Put the brakes on. Yes, I am writing this book. Has cost me money to get here. Like, no." And everything in me and this voice was like, "You're not writing this book." And then all of a sudden, this happened overnight. Like, I went to bed super stoked, my outline's there, and then it was like, woke up in the morning like, "You're not writing this." It got pulled. I had no desire. It was like, when you know something, you're like, "This is not I'm not supposed to be doing this." You just know, that's the feeling. So in the afternoon, I'm, like, literally distraught. I'm like, "Do I leave? Am I packing my bags? Am I going somewhere?" Like, I felt so disconnected. I was confused, kinda freaked out. It was weird. And all of a sudden, I felt Jesus come into the tent. Now, I had been connecting with Jesus, and I'd been bringing him in, and I had been, hanging out with him, but this was the beginning of a massive shift. He comes into my tent energetically, and I immediately feel this light, this peace, this calm. I can't describe it. And I dropped. The energy was so intense. I dropped to my knees. I started crying. I just started bawling. And if you've ever felt Jesus when he comes in those moments, he wraps you in this blanket of peace. And he just says to you, it's all going to be okay. You're not writing this book. Follow me. Just trust me. Trust me. Then he says, keep your eyes on me. Keep focused on me. Keep your eyes on me. Keep focused on me. Keep your eyes on me. And I had no idea what he meant. I didn't understand. I was like, okay, I'll keep my eyes on you. Like, you know, um, but I felt such peace and such a relief. I knew that I was going to be okay. I knew this book was no longer going to be written. I knew that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And so the next week and a half, I did nothing at that lake but focus on Jesus. I just talked to him. I listened to music. I wrote with him. I just my focus and eyes all day doing absolutely nothing but really connecting with him. That was in January. Then there were all kinds of different things that happened from January to August. Okay, all these different experiences with Jesus. And I just started building this relationship with him more and more. But I wasn't concerned or worried about the book. I knew that that book was gone. If I was going to write another one, I would write another one, whatever. And then in August, okay, the beginning of August, Jesus comes in and he says, "It's time." And I said, "It's time for what?" And I'm journaling with him. And he says, "It's time we write our first book." And I said, "Okay, what is it about?" And he said, "It's about the God particle." And he said, "It's about the spiritual battle and the warfare that humanity has been in for thousands of years. And it's about how I am here, he is here to assist humanity in activating that God particle and how to evolve or move through the next really big phase in humanity's evolution." And so that was in August. And from that point forward, I began training and working with Yeshua every day. And the first thing that he told me to do, and this is something that you could kind of write down in your notes, in terms of like how to start preparing ourselves to activate this particle, this God particle, which is what's going to happen to the entire human collective. This particle, this God particle, is designed to activate in humans. It has to. It's the natural process. Um, and so the first thing he said to me was, "You have to prepare your body, right? You have to get your body clean." And that's when he said, "Go on that three-week fast." Um, and so the first thing that we have to understand is what is actually inside our bodies, even if you're the healthiest person, and the power of fasting. And not just fasting, but fasting and praying. So when you pray, you are anchoring deeper into your awareness and intention the purpose of the fasting, which, if you're fasting for this reason, it's to create space for God's light to come into your body so that that particle can activate. So the first time I did a longer fast, this massive parasite came out of me. I spoke about it already once. I forgot which episode, but basically this really gnarly, nasty parasite came out 9 days in, and it was connected to demonic energies that had come into my body at the age of 6. And that these kind of dark demonic energies came in because of a trauma, and that they had been creating a lot of the behaviors and patterns and limited beliefs that I've had most of my life. And so when that parasite came out, so too were the behaviors and limiting thoughts. They haven't come back. Those behaviors and limiting thoughts have not come back into my life. They're gone, completely gone, gone. So then one of the things that Jesus was asking of me is do a 5-day water fast once a month. Again, the most important thing that we can really do right now is clean out our bodies. We have energies inside of our bodies that we don't realize are impacting our minds and impacting our behaviors. All the addictions that you have, it's probably because you have some sort of stuff inside your body that's infiltrating you. And when you set the prayer for fasting to this extent of clearing out your body so that God's light can take over, it has a massive impact. Anywho, 5-day water fast last week. Day 3, I'm about to do an enema. Jesus was like, "Do an enema once a day." And I said, "Okay." And I prayed before the third day I did my third, every day I did an enema. The third day I was like, I'm going to pray before this enema. So I sat with Jesus and I prayed for any limiting thought that was still haunting me and taunting me. I just prayed for specific limiting thoughts to leave my body. And I prayed that I would expand and bring in, I would make space for these specific experiences in my life, right? And that was it. I didn't have an attachment. I just, that was my prayer. And not to get too graphic, but immediately once it was time to kind of eliminate the the water, nothing came out but clear water and a couple of nasty, huge, long, disgusting, demonic-looking parasites. Literally, the face looked like a demon. And I was once again shocked because I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what in the WTF is inside of me?" Like, literally what's inside of me, you know? If I showed you the photo of the face of this freaking parasite, you would be like, "Dude, that's a demon." And I knew immediately, because this was the second time, but I knew that I had just eliminated, believe it or not, these thoughts. It sounds crazy. How do I know? Because the thoughts are gone. Not because I did some sort of mind trick, okay? Like mind over matter. It's not because I did some sort of like positive thinking thing. They're gone. Like I can't grab those thoughts. It doesn't mean they may not move through my mind as a record player of some sort, right? But they don't have dominion over me. They're not controlling me. I'm not at their mercy. It's the wildest thing ever. I'm not doing like a mindfulness practice where it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to be aware of the thoughts." Like they're not prominent in my days anymore. So, all of that to say that fasting right now is one of the greatest, fasting with the intention of creating space in the body for God's light is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself. Fasting off of anything, it doesn't even matter. Start slow, fast off sugar for a week, right? You don't have to do dramatic fasts, but we've got to start understanding that we have been infiltrated by these dark demonic energies that are in our bodies. Let's start clearing it out. And again, it's not just like, oh, go buy a parasite kit. You have to, these parasites will come out regardless of whether you're buying a parasite kit. In fact, I would say that just fasting off things and sitting in prayer and meditation with God will get the parasites out faster than a parasite kit. Truly, I believe that because your prayer is more important. Your prayer and intention are more important. So that's the first thing: fasting, prayer, and intention, creating space for God's light to come in. Um, the second thing is as I've been sitting daily for hours with Yeshua writing this book and writing about what we've been in and how we're going to navigate it and how to begin to kind of override the massive amount of infiltration that has been coming into our bodies, um, and infiltrating our minds, infiltrating our emotional bodies, our physical bodies. Um, and so as I've been sitting with him for hours and hours and hours at a time, I'll literally set my phone. So we do two different things, Jesus and I. So we do, he calls it the God particle activation, which is 30 minutes at a time, um, and 1 hour sits, he calls it. Okay. So for those 30-minute God particle, TGP, the God particle activations, they're 30 minutes at a time. And this is basically kind of what they're like. I sit there and I connect in and I bring Yeshua into this. Obviously, he's right there. And um, he does a scan. He'll do like a scan over my body. And then whatever it is that's necessary in that moment, he'll start to kind of energetically connect to. So one of the first things that he does is he moves into that heart center area, this center right here, and he begins to move or kind of spin the energy in that center, kind of moves it, spins it. Um, it's almost like lubrication, right? And so, using the breath to allow for that light to just start to kind of like you're turning on um, like a wheel is starting to turn, but the wheel hasn't been on for forever, right? So he slowly starts to kind of spin that energetic wheel, and begin to allow for energy to start moving in that area. Um, the other, so he'll do that every single time. He'll start to move that space. The other thing he does is he always goes into, for me personally, he goes into the throat energy center and the third eye energy center and the solar plexus. And he focuses energy on those centers. And he it's almost like he's activating those centers. There was one time where he activated all the energy centers. Um, and again, when I'm sitting there with him, there isn't anything, I need to do. There's nothing I need to do. I just need to allow it. But moving energy through the centers through that channel is really, really important because when God's light starts to move through you, it needs that freeway system to be clear. Um, so you don't need somebody out there, a professional, or you don't need anyone to do this. And this isn't about raising your vibration. Has nothing to do with raising your vibration. Your frequency will increase just by God's light moving through you. This is about you beginning to understand the mechanics behind what's happening in your body, as God's light comes in and as God's light activates that particle. You also recognizing that you're not in charge, that you won't know how to do this, right? Like we we have to surrender completely to like being a kindergartner. All right. And so if you wanted to start practicing this, you have to let go of the idea that you or anyone else out there in the world that's a professional or a whatever is going to do this. It's only you and God. It's only you and God. Whatever God is to you, creator, source, that's it. And so when you sit and decide, you know what, I want to see what Lori's talking about, this God particle thing. Is it real what she's saying? Or is it all hocus pocus? You can sit and work with creator, which by the way is outside of you, this creator. You have to work with the creator outside of you. A lot of people don't like that, but you have to work with the creator outside of you and invite the creator into the body. Um, and invite that creator to work through your body, to assist your body in being able to start holding God's light and activating that God particle. Again, you're not in charge. You're not going to say to the power of God, right? The creator, "Hey, I need you to activate my throat. Pretty sure you need to activate." Like you're not in charge. You literally sit and are like, "Okay, I'm open, I'm available, I'm so curious." Um, Set your alarm for 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you want to give yourself, and see what happens if you do this every single day. So you sit and you invite God, creator, source, into your body and you say, I want you to start activating my God particle. I want you to do what you need to do to activate, and see what happens. Start seeing this is not rocket science. You don't have to be some enlightened human. You don't have to be some spiritual woo-woo person. This is not you don't have to be healed. You don't have to you could have all the trauma in the world. You could what it doesn't even matter. The recognition or the realization is the knowingness that um essentially, you've never really been in charge. We're not designed to be in charge. We're designed to be integrated with the light of God and walking integrated with God, integrated with creator, with source inside the body, side by side. So there's always going to be this persona, personality, and ego that's going to be making the choices, right? That's the avatar in front. That's the character, right? But God, the light of God, is designed to be the most powerful source around and within you that is the driving energy, the driving force of your actions, the driving force of your behavior, the driving force of what you're thinking, the driving force of what you're speaking. We become God-like more and more, slowly but surely, as the light of God moves into the form. And so every day that he's been doing that, he always moves the energy into the heart center. He'll have me lay down many times on the ground, full surrender, and work with my body in that way. There's always the Holy Spirit, the light of God, in coming in. Always, the light of God's always coming in. The other day he worked on my pineal gland, but he worked on the pineal gland from the back here. I don't know what he was doing. Also, recognize or understand if this is something that you're curious about and you want to see if, what I'm talking about is real, which it is. Um, you have to let go of any expectation. You can't be in charge. Like, you can't be like, okay, I'm going to try this, but if nothing happens, it's not real. Or then my disease should go away or my pain should go away. Again, that is what has ruled this entire planet for so long, is us being in charge, us wanting an outcome, us wanting an expectation. Humanity is going to be humbled when they start to realize that the light of God, uh, albeit is way more powerful and potent than you, needs to be allowed in the front, right? Anyone that says that they are living with God and that they are God, but they're still making all the choices and they're still driven by all of these external things, God hasn't actually penetrated their essence yet. When God comes in and penetrates your physical body, meaning that it begins to take over your physical body energetically, your whole life will change. The thoughts that I had 3 months ago are gone. The suffering that I was in, the up and down emotional roller coaster is gone. I don't have emotional roller coasters anymore. I don't. I don't have, addictive behaviors anymore. I don't have and what's so interesting about talking about this type of stuff is people don't wanna hear it. Not right now. Um, they don't they don't want to acknowledge. Uh, they don't wanna have to do this. They want somebody to take it away from them. Um, they want things to be more entertaining or sensationalized. I don't know what it is right now about our planet, but, um, we've been so manipulated and controlled in our minds that it's it's just gonna be a real interesting ride. Um, beginning to like, what's surprising to me is how much my life has changed, and in the most miraculous ways by inviting God in more and more over and over and over and over, and yet people are still gonna move towards wanting to consume or digest, information that has no bearing to their physical transformation and evolution. It's the wildest, weirdest thing to me. One thing that Yeshua said to me today is remind them that this is physical. This transformation, this evolution is physical. It's very human. It's grounded in the human experience, right? We've been talking about this, but it's grounded in your everyday human, very real human experience. Like, there's not going to be some, like, you know, esoteric things that are going to come onto the planet and somehow shift us or guide us or awaken us. This is a human evolution. This happens in the physicality of human. It happens with emotion, thought, addictive behaviors, demonic energies inside of us, what we eat, what we consume, like that is it's all physical. It's right here. This is it. This is the evolution in human consciousness right here, contained in this physical vessel. Nothing out there that is really like, wow, holy cow, that is not going to do anything for the actual, real, physical evolution that's happening on the planet. He says this is grounded in the body. This has to be a choice day after day in physical body, in the physical awareness. He says nothing comes down to save you. He says you have to choose. And then he says it's not through external devices or external things that do this. It's God's light that does this. It's God's light, he says, that does this. And the fact that most humans are, it's almost impossible for humanity to sit quietly and access God's light. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. Um, but this is what is this will shift your entire life. This will change everything in your life. Everything. The only reason it won't is because you're telling yourself, you're attaching to thoughts that are going to tell you it can't or it won't. But this is what this is. I am doubling down on the God particle. I'm tripling down on the God particle, and I'm acutely aware of how distracted we are by all the other things that are don't help us in any capacity. Meaning, like all the different storylines and like what to pay attention to, and all of that is just massive distraction. Like, are you in the body? Are you bringing in God's light? Are you connecting into God's light? Are you breathing it through? Are you like what happens if that's all we need to do? Because the advanced human that we're stepping into is an integrated human, integrated with God, creator. It is what we were millions of years ago. It is the evolution. It's what we're stepping back into. Everything else is distraction. And we become more peaceful when we do this. We become more calm when we do this. We become more graceful when we do this. All of the things that you've been trying to fix or change or heal, it simply starts to dissolve. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. The light of God, the light of creator, where you separated from, where you popped out, you popped out a source. You became this spirit, this light, this consciousness, this individuated aspect of God. You popped out of that light. That light is what's moving into your body every day when you invite it in. And that light is more powerful than any thought, than any belief, than any emotion, than any addictive behavior, than any demonic energy, than any parasitic energy. Anything that you've been battling, suffering with, trying to figure out, trying to heal, God's light literally goes like this, brushes it off like it's no big deal. It's like and this isn't a bypass, my friends. This is not a bypass. This is the evolution in human consciousness. We are an aspect of God. We are in a human experience. We are playing a human role. We are in a physical, dense reality. And we are remembering through the evolutionary shift in consciousness, we are remembering that we are designed to be divinely connected energetically with the flowing light of God moving into our bodies, which has not happened for thousands of years because it's been infiltrated so that we could be controlled. As soon as we realign and connect, everything that we have been suffering with, trying to fight, trying to figure out, trying to battle, trying to heal, slowly begins to go away because God's light is designed to take space and dominion over your physical form, which then pushes out anything and everything that doesn't serve you. This happens slowly and no, sometimes not so slowly. And it's mind blowing and it's miraculous. Welcome to your evolution in human consciousness. This is what's happening. And there will be a small group of people that will first jump on board and they'll start saying, you know what, I'm going to try this out. What is this all about? The majority isn't. They're going to stay in that programmed illusionary state that they're in charge and that they're going to do that. They're God and they know all of it. But they're not their life isn't changing. Nothing's changing. They're still in charge and nothing's changing. Go find the ones whose lives are just simply beginning to change and look at what they're doing. Not the ones that are telling you everything. The ones that you're actually watching energetically shift. They're becoming more humble. They're softening. Their hearts are opening. They're being driven not by success and money and fame, but they're being driven by service. Right? Start noticing that. Start noticing that in people. That's God's light beginning to shine through these people. Not what people say. Language and what people say is not the true beingness of that person. How they are being, how they feel. When God enters into your life, when God enters into your body, when you begin to breathe God through you, thank God, I pray that all of you begin to have this experience over and over and over again. I pray that every single one of you that are watching this, open yourself up just maybe to, well, I'll try this out. And you let the light of God come in. You see what happens. What else do you have? You have nothing to lose. You've done everything else. You've paid thousands of dollars for all these other things. This is free. It's designed to be free. This is your birthright. This is the way it's designed to go. This is the way the body is designed. It has a particle called the God particle. It's designed to activate through the light of God, not from some person that's going to charge you $10,000 for, a month worth of integrating light through you. No, it's God. It's free. And it's the most powerful force that will heal you and break free from the illusion, the suffering, everything you've been in. This is how we move into these next states that humanity's moving into. Millions of years ago, when human, was living on these continents that we all call Lemuria and Atlantis, they were 5D humans. They were God in form. They were connected to God at all times. They knew who they were. God worked through them. God moved through them. They lived God-like. Where do you think we're going, and how do you think we're going to get there? You're not in charge because the you that thinks you're in charge is the one that's been programmed systematically in the mind. God cannot be programmed. It's God that is coming in. It's God that's coming in. So start thinking about fasting and prayer, what that means to you, right? What that looks like. Start sitting quietly and inviting God into your body, breathing God through you. Start being curious about the God particle. Start looking around at your life and saying, are we all just continuing to do the same thing, trying to find the same solutions over and over and over again, and nothing really seems to be changing? Maybe we fix one thing, but then we just need to fix another thing. Is there a possibility that maybe there's a way through where we actually integrate and embody these shifts and these changes in such a way that our whole life changes naturally, slowly, without us doing anything? There's a whole new phase coming up. that we're stepping into. It's called the organic timeline and the inorganic timeline. The organic timeline is this timeline. It's slowing down and getting quiet enough to say, what is God? What is creator? What is source? And if it's in me, how come I don't feel it? How come I don't live God like? There must be some sort of disconnection. I'd like to connect again, bring that light through my breath, through my eyes, through my ears, through my mouth, through my heart. Not because I'm forcing myself to, or I'm vibrating myself into some sort of meditative vibrational state, but because it's my natural state of being. I don't have to do any of that. When God's light moves in, when God's light activates, when God's light becomes an aspect of you, you don't have to try to do any of it. Just like your heart, you don't tell your heart to beat. You don't tell your lungs to expand and contract in order to breathe. It naturally happens. It's the same thing with God's light coming into you and activating that particle. You're not thinking, I need to be more godlike. You become more godlike naturally. That's what happens. So we've been trying for a very long time to be enlightened. We've been trying to be a higher vibration. We've been trying to be healed. We've been trying to be positive. We've been trying to be awakened. It's efforting because it's me, I, that's been trying to do it because I want to get somewhere. When God comes in, it's a natural process. You just start feeling it. You just start feeling it. Try it out. Try it out, my friends. Anyway, that's it. I got to get going. Um, any quick questions? Any quick questions? Any quick questions about the God particle? Try fasting a little bit. Maybe try prayer. Try sitting quietly with God. Set your phone for 5 minutes and just ask God's light to come in. Ask Creator. You have to just choose. You have to choose it, Kemma. You choose faith. You choose it. It's that simple. You have to choose to believe. How do you believe? You choose it. You gotta just choose it. Choose it. Practical tips for fasting. Um, Create your intention, my friend. What's your intention? Why are you doing it? And hold on to that why. And then use the time that you're fasting, use it to really focus on God. Recognize you're doing it to open up space in your body for God. It'll change fasting for you. Pray. What do you want to get rid of during the fast? What thoughts? What beliefs? What behaviors? Pray that they leave while you're fasting. How can we get ourselves to have the discipline to fast? You got to just start. You got to start, Tanya. Maybe do one day. Start with one day and fast. Do a broth fast for one day. A broth fast. Do a broth fast for one day. So let's say you eat dinner at 6 p.m. on Friday. Then from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, you fast and you just drink broth throughout the day and you just pray, right? You're just holding the intention of creating space, and anything that needs to leave your body will leave your body that doesn't serve you. And you get real clear on that. The longer you fast and the less that you put in your body, the better, but start where you can. How do you know you're connected to God? You feel it. You start feeling it. You start feeling it. I can't explain it. You just start to feel like you start lightening up. You just do it every day. Sit for 5 to 10 minutes, my friend, every single day, inviting God's light to come through you, inviting God's light to move through you. Just try it. You have nothing to lose. It's free. 10 minutes every day. Don't stop and see what happens. Would you say fasting while breastfeeding would be safe? I have no idea. I don't know. I would go and ask your doctor. Um, yeah, lots of crying. Um, you're connected when you see the thousands of poisons that are killing you every day of your life. Any other questions before I go about the God particle or anything else? Try it, my friend, Paige. Try it. Truly sit for 10 minutes. Set your alarm, 10 minutes. Close your eyes. Invite God's light in. If you resonate with Yeshua, invite Yeshua in because he can expedite this process. If you resonate with Yeshua, invite Yeshua in to help you. I want to activate the God particle. I want God to start moving through my body. See what happens. Hoping the book comes out next year, at the end of next year. Both. You can invite both in, Lizzie. Um, what should I ask him? Invite the light of God in you. I want to activate that God particle, bring God's light through me. See what happens. How to stop overthinking and anxiety. Sit, my friend, Eliza. Sit for 5 minutes, set your alarm. I know it's going to be difficult for 5 minutes, especially if you're overthinking. And I want you to set your phone alarm for 5 minutes. I want you to do this for a week. Try it every day. 5 minutes, set your alarm. And I just want you to simply say, I'm inviting in the light of God. I mean, or if your word is source or creator, whatever word resonates, just breathe. I'm inviting in the light of God. And then breathe. I'm inviting in the light of God. God, I know you're here. God, move through me. God, breathe through me. Just state those things over and over and over. See what happens. Okay. Um, Try it. Set your phone. 5 minutes for Eliza, but 15, 20 minutes for other people that don't have a lot of overthinking and anxiety. Um, I'm bringing in the God come in. God move into my body. God move into my body. Breathe through me. God start activating the particle of light within me that's the God particle. And just close your eyes and start breathing God's light through you. Imagine it's nectar. Imagine it's like living waters, literally moving through you. It's impossible. I'm going to state this. I'm going to state it. If you stop listening to thoughts that are trying to block you, it's impossible for this not to change your life. The only reason it may not shift your life is because the thoughts are telling you it's not working. The thoughts, you're grabbing thoughts that are blocking this from just moving. So just be aware of that. It's impossible. This is the next phase of evolution. I promise you. I think it's Eliza. Your overthinking thoughts and your anxiety will start to disseminate as the light of God moves in. Um, all right. Anything else before we go? Any other quick questions? Once we stop judging ourselves for everything we do, it will naturally fall away. How do you stop repeating a pattern that is out of alignment? Nick, do this. Do this. Sit every day and I'm going to say the same thing. Sit every day for a certain amount of time and invite creator, source, or God to come in and move that pattern through you. You're not in control of that pattern. You're almost like and by the way, if you do heal or fix that pattern, another pattern may arise, right? And so really we want to get to the core of what's causing that pattern. And you're not in charge actually of getting to the core of that. God will move that through you. So you want to sit quietly 5, 10, 15 minutes a day with the intention, Nick. Your intention is to allow God to move that pattern out of you. So you're now courageously deciding, you know what? I'm tired of this. Maybe this will work. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to David Goggins this, but I'm going to David Goggins it through with God instead of myself. I was talking about this on Instagram. And you start asking and inviting the power and light of God to come in and to take this, that you're done. You're done. You're done. You don't want it anymore. Show me. Show me, God, what I need to do. Show me what I need to do with this. Take this from me. And you'll start feeling what surrendering feels like. And then follow the intuitive hits that you get throughout the day. Listen to your intuition, get quieter. Start listening throughout the day because as you begin to work with God quietly, you invite God into your life and you start asking God to help you get rid of. And there's nothing wrong with you asking God. What's the difference between you asking God to help you and you paying somebody, a therapist, a card reader, an intuitive? Thank you, Laura, for that super chat to help you. What's the difference? There is no difference. Somehow it's like you can't ask God. It's disempowering you're handing your power over. But then we'll go and ask other people to help us. Like I don't understand that. We'll go to retreats and ask them to help us. Like it doesn't make any sense that we have this deep programming around handing things and asking God to take it. If Joe Schmo that has 2 million followers says, "I can help you get rid of that," would you give him the money to do it? Of course you would. Right? You'd be like, I'm on board. Here you go. Get rid of this for me. Help me get rid of this." But yet when it comes to God, we're like, nope, that's disempowering. That's the program. God forbid you go to God. They don't want us to go to God. Why? Because they don't want us to realize the power and potential of God's energy moving into our bodies, reminding us of who we are and what we have the capacity to navigate. Nick, that pattern, that behavior will go away. It will go away. God will heal that. God will take that from you. The more committed you are to sitting quietly every single day, and that's up to you. It's all up to you. But I can promise you, God will take that from you. Sit every day, ask God to come in, creator, source, whatever you want to say, invite that light in, breathe that light through you. Tell it exactly what it is that you want out of your system. And then listen throughout your days. God will guide you. God will say, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that. And then guess what? You follow, you listen, you do it. Okay? Oh, all right, you guys, I love you. Thank you for that super chat. 2222, Louise. That is very special. Thank you. God has taken your anxiety. I didn't have anxiety. God took a handful of limiting beliefs. God took addictions. God took the up and down emotional roller coaster ride. Uh, God took insecurity. God took comparison. God took lack. God, I can't explain it. I'm waiting for more days and weeks and months to go by before I share a really, really personal experience that I've had in terms of my healing. But let's just say that it's absolutely beyond miraculous what has happened. There's no other reason that I am adamant about sharing and speaking about this because it has changed my entire life. It's changed everything. And all I want is for people to understand the power that this has in your life and that it's free and that it's natural and that this is the phase that we're in. And the only reason that that it can't work, it won't work, or it's because of the thoughts that we choose to believe. God is so much more powerful, mystical, magical, and it's about bringing that magical, mystical, powerful light of God back in here. in your everyday normal life. Nothing fantastical out there. No galactic beings or mystical beings out there do this. God does it. I don't know where that came from. That was pretty cool. God does it. All right, you guys, I love you. I got to get going. I'll see you next Tuesday. Mwah! Be gentle with yourself. Thank you for being here.